Hello once again, friends. Welcome. Today, let's talk about the history of insurance. Studies of the history and evolution of insurance have many versions depending on the texts of reference or how far back one starts research. For the purposes of this video, I have referred to texts that date the history of insurance back to the very first human beings. In ancient times, if a person's house was burnt down, the other members of the community helped to build a new one by contributing the necessary resources. The history behind insurance can be traced to the early 3rd and 2nd millennia BC, where it is reported that the Chinese and the Babylonian traders practiced methods of risk transfer. The Chinese were famous for redistributing their wares across many vessels in order to limit losses that might occur in case one of the vessels sunk while traveling through treacherous river rapids. Babylonians also practiced insurance in the form of a system called the Code of Hammurabi, which was a collection of rules that established standards for commercial interactions and set fines and punishments to meet the requirements of justice. The Code of Hammurabi, circa 1755 BC, offered a basis for institutionalizing insurance and formalized concepts of bottomry, referring to vessel bottoms, and respondentia, referring to cargo. These provided the underpinning for marine insurance contracts. Such contracts contain three elements: a loan on the vessel, cargo, or freight, an interest rate, a surcharge to cover the possibility of loss. In effect, shipowners were the insured and lenders were the underwriters. By 750 BC, this practice was common, and risk-sharing was refined into a concept known as general average, which became a fundamental doctrine of maritime insurance. The general average is a partial loss falling on all interests. In a maritime venture, all parties share proportionately, a partial loss that affects them all. In Athens, this risk-sharing principle led to the birth and growth of the first insurance exchange. Insurance was also practiced by the early Mediterranean sailing merchants. When a merchant takes a loan to fund his shipment, he would also pay an extra sum to the lender who would guarantee to cancel his loan when the shipment is stolen or lost at sea. The history of insurance also shows how the Achaemenian monarchs of Iran were the first to insure their people. They made it official by registering the process in the government notary office. Insurance was like a ceremony to them and performed each year in Nowruz, where the head of different ethnic groups presented gifts to the monarch. These gifts would also function as an early form of political insurance, and officially bound the Persian monarch to protect the group from harm. The people of Rhodes invented the concept of the general average. Merchants whose goods were being shipped together would pay a proportionally divided premium, which would be used to compensate any merchant whose goods were abandoned during storm or sinkage. This was an interesting phase in insurance history. The Greeks and Romans introduced life and health insurance in 600 AD. They formed an association called benevolent societies that took care of families and paid funeral expenses of members upon death. Friendly societies also existed in England in the late 17th century, where people donated funds to be used for emergencies. The concept of separate insurance contracts was introduced by the people of Genio in 14th century, and the concept of marine insurance existed in a concrete form at the end of the 17th century. The modern concept of insurance history can be traced to the Great Fire of London, which reportedly raged for 4 days from the 2nd of September to the 6th of September 1666, destroying up to 13,200 houses. The United States' first insurance company underwrote fire insurance and was formed in Charlestown, South Carolina, in 1732. According to Skillshare, Benjamin Franklin popularized the practice of insurance, particularly against fire, in the form of perpetual insurance. He also established the Philadelphia Contribution Ship for the insurance of houses from loss by fire. Insurance has come a long way today. Going through the history behind insurance will give you a deeper insight into insurance and as well as comprehend it as a whole. Marine insurance, life assurance, and fire insurance contributed a lot towards the development of insurance framework in the early phase, and it can easily be said that every other policy was developed upon this foundation. That's all for now. Let me know what you think about this article by leaving your comments below. Subscribe and click the notification bell. Until next time.